we're gonna start. Some people might join during the session, and it's all cool. We like that. Keep it spontaneous. So you're able to see the screen, correct?
Yeah, all good.
Cool. So welcome to another chapter of Hack HR. Hack HR is, I call it my baby project. I'm trying to see here if I'm able to implement a gym-like attitude into soft skills training. Like we go to the gym and weight lifts and to make your shape and health be better. So the same with brain skills, brain muscles. And the purpose of this specific soft skills is on achieving career goals, specifically in the Israeli job market. I see that so far it's very interesting for mainly Olim Hadashim. And it's good because I was an Ole Hadash 25 years ago. Since then, a lot of things happen in life, but let's talk about today. So today we're going to talk about the Israeli business culture. Does it even exist? Does it has a name? What does it mean to work in Israeli workplaces? We're going to talk about the challenges and opportunities that are presented to us when we find this high diversity of people from multiple backgrounds, industries, professions, and when they meet in this weird setup, we call it work. Everybody calls his workplace differently. I'm here at home and I'm at work, working for myself. Daria's on the street walking, and she's also looking for work for clients. Some of you are job seekers willing to get to the first office, and it's all super cool. The diversity that we can even how to call work, right? And in the second part of the session today, we're going to have long group discussions. I see that we're a very intimate and nice group here, so we will split into groups of 4 and have an in-depth discussion about diversity in Israel with some exercise to do. So, who am I? In the past few years, in the last couple of years, I was managing a career center for a place that's called Practicum, Yandex Practicum, and it was implementing a digital career center in Israel. And it was part of like a professional training thing. My background is in labor relations. Later on, I became a business owner of a design studio. I started with myself and it grew into 12 people. And what I found out that was interesting, all of the people that work that I chose as employees, as team members, were people from diverse backgrounds, whether people that transition from a profession to profession after some training, juniors that just begin their practice. And I find that like this is the purpose of me, trying to help people get to reach their career goals in a work setup. I do so by doing this kind of soft skills training and strategic consulting to organizations like training institutions, governmental, non-profits, and so on. So how does this gym actually work? Every week, the trainees or the job candidates in the program that I'm helping them here to reach their career goal, they get the say of what do they need for next week when I identify it through conversations with them and chat on a private group. And for example, today understand that we're dealing with social and multicultural skills for the purpose of them integrating in Israeli society. Next week, we're going to have a different kind of discussion. So the gym works exactly like a gym. You come to this test training, like today, practical workshop. You find it via Eventbrite and some communities online that told you about this event. Those that inside the program get an assignment just after this, like some homework, go and try this in real life. They tell me about the results. how was it? Hard, easy, success, fail, whatever the result was. I provide feedback about it and message, and we reflect about it. And later on, I just send self-paced content just to practice for next time. The joker here that I might bring some from time to time, that because I'm working with organizations, sometimes I have occasional opportunities, and then like I ask, drop everything and deal with that. Let's make your CV because I got an interesting job offer. I have a client that you must meet now. Drop everything and come. And if you need some preparation, I have also very experienced people that I work with within my network, and they like mentors that can provide some extra thought about the process. It's very intense. It's for people that want to get results fast. Experiential, you do hands-on. It's personalized because it's about you and not in just general. Digital, so we can do it in any place that we're located. Guided because we people, almost 10 to 12% of the people are not able to learn alone, and guided brings some structure, and collaborative gives us also some kind of social commitment, that we don't do it just for some dude, but we do it for it's a collaborative effort. And when we win and we surround ourselves with people that want to win, so this is a healthy community. So today, multicultural skills and diversity. We people with background in HR hear about it a lot. I don't know in Israel specific how much the practice of multicultural understanding and diversity is popular. Even though we're very diverse as a country, in workplaces, you may see like they have typecasts. Every kind of company have their DNA, the kind of people, and it's usually very notable depending on who are the founders or the leadership of the company. They bring people that are like them. And with that said, I want us together here to reflect about the Israeli business culture. Okay, when I say business culture, it can be also in a non-profit, it doesn't matter, but organizational cultures in Israel. Okay, whenever you go, military service or workplaces, corporate or non-corporate, high-tech, low-tech, doesn't matter. There are some patterns that you might see that repeat themselves. Now, I was reading lately a book by a lady called Osnat Lautman. She's an organizational development consultant, and she wrote a book called The Israeli Business Culture for people that are immigrants to have a better understanding what's waiting for them in Israel. She developed this acronym, Israeli, and which stands for more or less the DNA of what is Israeli business culture. According to her book, she says like Israeli business culture is very informal, okay? Also with the look, feel and look, we don't go with suits to anywhere. There is no reason to do that. We also, in work setups, we prefer first to be friends and then show the professionality. Even in HR processes, correct me if I'm wrong, HR people, we want people that first are people that are can be trusted, okay? That person seems nice, and only then also show me what you got. Am I wrong, HRs?
I mean, I can't tell for Israel. Sorry.
Okay. So, for informality, that's the I. Then we got the straightforward. We say things for people from outside. It might feel sometimes rude, direct, not polite, but from the outside listener, it sounds like we complain a lot. We just say our opinions straight to the face. Unlike, I don't know, UK or especially Americans, that you may never express something negative. No, you're wrong. we are able to say, no, you're wrong, and we don't try to offend. It's our way of communication. And in that sense, it's like, we need to adapt and try to understand that sometimes we might be told things straightly, and this is just the communication style here. This is how things work. Israeli workplaces are more about risk-taking or like more in the cultural level, not everybody is an entrepreneur that takes huge risk, but because of the nature of what is Israel, and you go outside and I don't know, political unrest, and you got whatever terrorism outside. So it gives you like the encouragement that, okay, you need to take a risk to do some things differently because you don't know what might happen tomorrow. And it's encouraged maybe this attitude of risk taking. It's just my 2 cents personally on why we Israelis are more risk taking than others. I don't know. A stands for ambitious, the aspiration for success, for achieving goals. We look a lot on ideas and how to try to make them happen, to improve our way of living. We're not just satisfied as is. When Israelis are rarely satisfied as is, we always want something more. Entrepreneurial, E stands for entrepreneurial. It's like, yeah, everybody, I think you already heard what is Startup Nation, right? And more entrepreneurs per capita, more investment in startups than other countries in the world. I think it comes from the previous kind of risk-taking, ambitious, and stuff like this. But yeah, it does create an environment that is very supportive for people that are willing to build something new. And the government has a lot of plans to help entrepreneurs, and not only government, by the way, also private sector. We are loud, and I think I don't need to say more about it. It's all clear what we mean by Israelis are loud. And the interesting last one that got my attention is like improvisational. I've been working a lot in the past 1.5 years for Yandex Practicum, and what I saw there is people are in their nature. Most of them, of course, are from East Europe, and there is something with structure and process that everything is well defined. You do A, and only then you do B, and only then you do C, and you cannot cut from C to E. No, it's not possible. You must do step by step. And Israel work culture is not like that at all. We're all about improvisation, less long-term planning, maybe because of the inability to plan forward what's going on. And I don't know, I thought that, okay, it is very curious to see how did you meet this so far, inside or outside a workplace. What do you think, guys? Please open just the mic and throw your thoughts up on this slide. What do you think?
Looks accurate.
Accurate. Okay. When you go to meetups, Daria, you meet.
Yeah, man, I see that a lot, like informal, loud. That's really struck me at first, but yeah, and yeah, like I haven't seen any improvisational because of like this didn't work close enough, but informal, straightforward, risk. I mean, all of it, I see that.
I think chutzpah is missing here.
Chutzpah, yeah. I think it's about the straightforward, probably.
Risk-taking, loud.
Yeah. About chutzpah, I have a lot of nice stories, but I think I keep that for other occasion. So when all of us here are immigrants to Israel. I don't know Lisa yet. Lisa, can you give us a short intro so we can also get to know you a little bit?
Yes, of course. Good morning, everyone.
Hi.
Yes. Switch on. My name is Lisa. I came from Russia 7 months ago, and now I'm trying to find my first job in Israel as a system analyst.
Cool. So good luck with this, and how do you say, Dobro pожаловать в Israel.
תודה רבה.
I want to introduce, to start the conversation, a dear friend here, Dmitry Prigozhin. With his story, I think, Elisa, you also can identify yourself in the background. And it will be the discussion for the first part of the day, understanding the challenges of job seekers, all kinds of job seekers, and it's based basically on a coaching of more than 70 people that I did in Yandex Practicum, and I start seeing all kinds of patterns, and I can identify to three different groups. But to get better context, we need to understand actual people and what they're facing and how their lives looks like. So for this, I want us to get to know better Dmitry. Dmitry, what's up?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Dmitry Prigozhin. I am from Moscow, Russia. I made an MBA in January of this year. Before that, for many years, I was an engineer in manufacturing companies producing products for the advertising market. I earned a master's degree in physics and chemical research method. After graduation from the university, my partner and I launched a startup specialized in digital wide format printing. I was responsible for organize the production, pushes the equipment, training personnel, and set up the production cycle. The company operated for over 10 years and was one of the largest in its field. After 14 years, we sold our business. A condition of pushers from the buyer side was my employment in the new company for the purpose of integrate the new asset and automating the entries business. I document and formalized all process setup and programmed CRM systems that rise everything happened with the company. As a result, the owner has real-time insight into every detail of his business, down to the last screw. Later on, I was offered to establish a manufacturing company for production PSM material for an advertising holding. Over 5 years, the newly created company became one of the biggest in the industry. In 2022, as you know, things changed, and so I moved to Israel. I took this chance to learn software development. It's something I always wanted to do. I took Web Developer Institute course at the I took a web development course at the Developer Institute, and now I've been looking for a job for a month, but it's been harder than I think, especially with there is no any feedback. So I sent the CV and no feedback I have. So that's my short story.
Dmitry, first of all, thank you for sharing and cool presentation and super interesting and relevant background, in my opinion. What do you feel like are the barriers? What forces you feel that out there says, no, Dmitry still needs to polish something in the industry is wrong? What kind of blockers you face at the moment?
As I say, I don't know exactly because there is no feedback. It's the main problem, because if they're asking feedback, I can do something to change something. But what I do, I try to speak with different people from this kind of job and try to get feedback from them. I show them my CV, I explain them who I am, and they give me something to do, something to change. What I implement, and I hope that I will correct my CV and correct my story, and I will find the job. I'm sure.
We're on the right path. First of all, consistency is what's important. I can assure you this. Consistency makes you constantly improve. And now we're going to drive a little bit deeper on understanding the challenge of job seekers and the patterns, what's out there, okay? Why so many job seekers are unable to meet their career goals, sometimes not at all, sometimes slower than expected. And the three main categories that we might say are functional reasons, things about planning, processes, knowledge, professional reasons, experience, skills, a jargon of an industry, and personal reasons, mainly emotions. A little bit about each one and what kind of patterns I keep seeing, okay? Some people might face one challenge from all of those categories, and some are a combination. And of course, the more challenges are combined together, the harder or longer it might take the efforts from one participant, okay? Sometimes we are simply not aware of them, but as a coach, I'm able to see things and reflect them and show them to the other person when I meet this also. So in functional reasons, we have, let's call it lack of information. Lack of information in the sense of, I'm not sure how to plan my career change. I was A in Russia and I'm trying to become B in Israel. Sometimes it's the same profession, sometimes it's also a different one. But when you don't have a plan for that, it's easy to get lost. You know, it's driving without GPS in a country that you don't know. It's hard. Then we have also like a self-assessment of abilities. I'm not sure what I'm actually capable of. Like in Dimitri's case, you didn't hear this, but the guy already did software implementations inside. He has software skills from back then. He's not becoming new to software engineering, right, Dimitri? In Dimitri's case, he's just upgrading his stack. He already knows some programming. Market evaluation, you don't know what's in supply and demand, or you don't know how to check it besides, I don't know, news and friends. How to identify your gaps, how to even map them, understand what are my skills, and then, okay, I need to improve that skill a little bit more. So all of this falls under information. And knowledge is about knowing the job market. Why everybody tells and say, I want to work in high tech. But how big is the market compared to all the industry? It's actually about 10 to 14%, somewhere there. Okay, and that's only the number of only about 10% of the Israelis, or 12% now already, are working in what we call high tech. All other are not high tech. And then, okay, I have less options there, but everybody wants to go there. So if you want to go, for example, to work in tech industry, you need to be very familiar with that. Support network is something that I find mainly immigrants are lacking this, but people also that transition from an industry to an industry. Israel is mainly about referrals. You get things and get opportunities from a friend that know a friend that know a friend. And when you immigrate to a new country without local people that are able to vouch for you for specific skills, for a profession, you need to find that support group with you. People that are new to this also usually encourage them to go to meetups, introduce them to one-on-one to opportunities, get these random gatherings like today, just for people get to know other people and support each other. Sometimes you need a peer person that is exactly in your situation. Sometimes you need somebody that just overcame that challenge and ask a couple of questions. And sometimes you need to just go and talk with a stranger, like we had in our assignment last week. You need to find stranger people that work in the position that you're willing to go and work, and ask them a list of questions. That's it. Then we have, of course, communication, and I mean about language level. Okay, we're all able here to have a medium level conversation in English. Is it enough? I don't know if I'm a salesperson and I want to work in sales. If I want to work in B2B sales in Israel, so I might be mainly selling to American customers, and then is my English good enough to sales to American people? It's okay to maybe English level to work here, but to level up English, you need to practice at least 300 hours of English to level up. Hello, Nurit, thank you for joining. What's up? Okay, let's move on. So communication in the sense of the language we're speaking, it's also a barrier of job candidates, whoever they are. And sometimes I might already work in a company and it's even hard for me to move from one role to another one because of my language barriers, because then I need to, I don't know, speak with directors and present in a higher level. And of course, there are the finances. We all get with a specific bank account with X amount of money, and it might dictate how pressure we need to be. Okay, if I have 3 months savings and after that I need to compromise, and for example, now I don't have a job and I'm looking for my next station. So I need to invest 100% of my time on job seeking. Okay. And if I do that after I found a temporary job, of course, my dedication and mindfulness into it will be lower because I have also this half of my time or full-time job to work in something that I don't really maybe want to do at the moment, but it's slowing us down. So planning our finances are actually a functional reason of why people are not able to get in. Sometimes it's even a barrier to, you know, fund training or English classes or whatever. The second category of job barriers of that job seekers are facing actually are, first of all, hard skills level. Okay, I don't know, some of you trying to become software engineers, and then you face, okay, I know Python, but I know good enough Python to. Hi. Okay. Sorry, I put you on mute, Nurit. We can hear the conversations. So, hard skills level. It's improving a specific skill, so we can do it in a higher enough level to the goal we need. Okay, some of you know JavaScript, but it's good enough to, I don't know, make a landing page, a more simple product, we might say, than creating a whole system or a mobile application. So then, okay, it's not just about knowing the skill, but about the level of the skill, the proficiency. Later on, we have lack of soft skills. Many of us were not trained in life to present to people. Okay, nowadays I was a very shy person, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and I simply just put myself in the situations that I must speak in front of people, At the beginning, it was very embarrassing for me to do this kind of activities. And I simply took the risk. And at the beginning, I was much less interesting, much less confident, saying a lot of and forgetting even what I'm trying to say sometimes. And improving communication skills are crucial, because what many of us might face or face sometime in life, and maybe you can empathize with the situation, is that you're very professional at something, but you're maybe sometimes not able to communicate what you're able to do. And then, like, you know that you're pro, but the world outside don't know it. And the soft skill of just communication skills, like the workshop we had last week, is able to help us to overcome this kind of challenge. Of course, one training won't do the job. It's only with constant training, only then it might actually help us. The main barrier of, for example, I'm working a lot lately with bootcamp graduates of coding bootcamps, data bootcamps, QA bootcamps, whatever. The proven experience. Okay, you got this nice paper, you graduated some institute, but do you have a 100 to 100-hour project that you invested yourself into it? Some of you do, some of you not. And the ability to talk about your work and the projects and the complexity of your job and the challenges you face them is a main barrier for most of you. And then, like, okay, how do I gain experience hours before I get to a job? The government nowadays, I can tell you, is investing a lot into funding trainings and internships. The government is getting into funding institutions to help employers take bootcamp graduates, for example, or university graduates, and help them make an internship in their companies. So heads up. And of course, unfamiliarity with the relevant work subculture, a jargon. When you have a conversation, even when you go to a meetup of high tech, okay, there is a conversation of data people that it's totally different than designers, that it's totally different than product, that it's totally different than software engineers, and backend people and front-end people talk differently. And while everybody is speaking whether English or Hebrew, you cannot understand the nuance. You don't understand the meaning of the words. Did you face this kind of conversations? Anybody wants to share this opportunity that, okay, I went to a conversation and I didn't understand it. I knew the words, but I didn't know what they mean. Yes, no? You're very shy, guys. Come on. Okay. And lastly, we got personal reasons. Okay, we're people, we have our boundaries, and emotion, and it's usually about emotions. Okay, if I'm too distracted, lack of focus, I'm still organizing my things together, I cannot get clear decisions. Okay, I make a lot of decisions that are of poor quality sometimes, and we need to improve it. Okay, by reducing the noise. Okay, maybe it's notifications on our phones are distracting us. It might happen, yes. It maybe we have other things on our plate. For example, if most of us here are Olim, okay, so reality means that we're trying to arrange our kids' kindergarten, school, house. We need to move from one place to another, have some things with passports, our money transfers from our previous country to this country. And we're actually not able to decide clearly now. I know I need this job, but I cannot call it correctly. I want to become a front end or back end. I just learned this coding bootcamp, but what exactly I need to focus on? What am I strong at? You cannot have a high quality decision because your mind is taken. Then you have the obvious thing of resilience and flexibility. Your past is not equal to your present. You take your habits, your behaviors from your past. but then it meets a new reality, as we talked before about the Israeli business culture. And, you know, I guess, from my experience in corporate culture, in big companies, it's always like positive vibe, but you don't try to criticize too much. And then you come to an Israeli company and everybody's complaining every time and talking a lot and loud, and you find, hey, I don't belong here. And the mindset, like to understand, like, okay, this is a different culture and this is how people behave and talk here. So if I want to be part of this, I need to join the party probably. And this is a part of flexibility and resilience. Resilience means when things don't work up and you get this slap to the face and it hurts because reality hurts sometimes, how fast do you recover from it? And this is about resilience and when it meets us. Of course, there is the self-confidence. Sometimes it's overconfidence and sometimes it's underconfidence. And we all need some kind of scale in between. So the sense of capability and overcome it, it's what, first of all, I need to believe that I'm able to switch and find my first client in Israel or find my first job in Israel after integrating to this country. I need to believe that. It's a thing of confidence. And if I don't believe that, so why a job employer and a potential employer would believe in you? You need to believe in you first, right? Hi, Carol. Thank you for joining. And wow, we have Dina Sokolova with us. Okay. Hi. Carol, Dina, can you introduce yourself, please? You just came when we start to talk about you, ladies.
Oh, great.
Like not personally, but about HR people.
Okay. Hi, I'm living in Israel for over a year and a half. I relocated in March 2022. And before that, I was leading recruitment function in one of the largest IT companies in Russia, one part of it, Yandex Market. And prior to that, I was doing a recruitment and executive search in different agencies and other organizations. Currently, I'm leading recruitment for part of Yandex, which is based between Israel, Serbia, and Netherlands. Let it be so, not diving deep in details.
Cool. So thank you for joining, Dina. Carol, a few words also about you.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Carol. I'm from Brazil. I made Aliyah 8 years ago. Currently, I'm working in the HR department of a fintech company. My background is not really in HR. My background is business consultancy in Brazil, and I did a career pivot here in Israel. And I write a lot about the challenges for mainly Olim Chadashim on LinkedIn, and also I have a blog. And I'm happy to help with whatever I can.
Great. Thank you so much, Carol and Dina. I will have a short recap what we went through so far, okay? And we started with talking about the Israeli culture and how it differs from other places. We identify like Israeli culture like a place that is very indirect, informal in the way of communications, straightforward, straight to the face, dugri, what we say, more risk-taking, entrepreneurial, with loud people.
Loud, yeah, exactly. I was going to say loud.
We're not very structured. We like to improvise. Let's just try. And for some people, it's a bit shocking. Later on, we describe and we heard Dimitri's story of his integration from, let's call it systems engineer into software engineer here in Israel. And we describe also the, let's call it patterns that I found after meeting 70 people that I coached in the previous year and a half. And I started seeing all kinds of patterns that repeated. And we defined it like you see here in the screen, functional reasons, professional reasons, and personal reasons. Functional means lack of processes or language barriers, stuff like this. Professional considerations, and like skills, soft skills, hard skills, experience, and of course personal ones like emotional. And we just started you just joined in the right time to talk about the challenges of employers. You present first of all yourself, but you have your context, you work somewhere, and you know how recruiting works. And before we get to describe the patterns that I found in HR people, because I wasn't a pure HR in my life, okay? I work with HR people, I recruit my own employees, but I wasn't an HR. So please help us to reflect what kind of challenges do you face in the context of diversity hiring, people from non-standard background? What kind of barriers do you actually are facing as from the recruiting side?
I would like to start. So I mainly joined this company to hire, my first project was to hire people for the sales team, the new sales team. I hired around 15 international people, not only Olim, it's important to say, that they speak different languages. I can mention some of them like Polish, or actually even Spanish was difficult. Believe me or not, it was very difficult because they wanted someone from Spain and not from Latin America. In the end, we got someone from Mexico, and he's amazing. Dutch, anyway, many different languages, and I had to source for those languages, the people with those also Swedish.
Explain us the term source. People are not HR here.
Great. So source is when there are two main ways for an HR person to find candidates. So one is when the candidate is active and he's approaching the company and sending his or her CV through the website, career website, LinkedIn, job boards. So this is the active candidates. And sourcing is when the HR people need to approach people that are not looking for a job, or they're not looking, or they didn't send to our career page, and I approach them. So the main tool for that is LinkedIn. Of course, because I'm also part of Gvaim, I also use I don't know if you all are aware of Gvaim. They are an NGO that help Olim Hadashim with this career path. So I did their program when I arrived here, so I'm very connected to them. So I use their platform as well to search for people, but the main one is for sure LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So I have to look for people using keywords. So
what are keywords in my title, in LinkedIn, in my about? What are you looking for in candidates?
So mainly I was looking for languages, right?
For sales.
So I have two ways of doing that. Either look at like the skill part. You know, your LinkedIn profile, you have a skill part and you can add any skill, or also language. You also have on LinkedIn, you have the language. So this is one, but I didn't find a lot of result with that, unfortunately. And then I used like a more wide search, and I used as keyword, like a key. It's like there is a space on LinkedIn Recruiter that I can say a keyword, and it looks in everywhere in your LinkedIn profile.
May I ask?
Yeah, sure.
Since the conversation is more focusing on multicultural skills and diversity, what challenges do you see in hiring people from the non-standard backgrounds? For example, I shifted from profession A to B, so you won't find that I have 10 years of experience in software engineering, but I have an engineering mindset, and how do you find this?
Well, this probably I won't find because it's more complicated, and also because usually, unfortunately, I say that, but unfortunately, most of the companies look for experienced people with at least 2 years of experience. This is what I have experienced here when I'm looking for full stack or backend or front end, or even data analysis people. Usually here we are looking for people with at least 2 years of experience. But what I can give as a suggestion is to have a strong LinkedIn. Look for do a research on other people's LinkedIn and try to understand what are the keywords that you have to have in your LinkedIn, and like distribute those keywords around LinkedIn. It's not only on your about session, not only on your skills sessions, but distribute it and be active. I believe that being active on LinkedIn, it really helps catching the attention, maybe not of the recruiters. This is something that I want to write a blog post about it. Like, you shouldn't be worried about getting the attention of an HR person. You should be looking for getting attention of people that work in this specific position that you are aiming to. Why? Because they are the decision makers. HR are responsible for the whole process, but the decision makers are the people they're working in the team. So this would be like my main
Wow, this is a very strong advice. I don't need the HR because
I didn't say you don't need.
Like as a job seeker, I'm not willing to outreach to you. I need actually the manager of the department or the senior person and outreach them.
Yeah, it's much stronger
Powerful
strategy.
advice. Dina, you with us? I want to ask you something.
Yes, again, I just I have something to say here. I wouldn't say it's so that pleasant to hear that HR does not make any decisions. I do not agree here, sorry.
So please defend the stand.
I think you're taking a bit too extreme. I didn't say you don't need HR, and I didn't say we don't decide. So let's not be so extreme. I said it's not.
Yes, I understand what you're talking about. Yes, for sure. Sometimes hiring manager can make a decision without an HR when he sees an interesting candidate. I just want other people think that HR is not needed in the process at all.
No, so this is what I said. Like, HR is leading the process. It's responsible.
Yes. But I fully agree with you here that sometimes hiring manager can see just an interesting candidate and make a decision that he is going to hire this person just because. So and that's it. Yes.
Wow.
Sorry, I'll jump in here because it's very. I mean, you need both. You definitely need both. If you have two people like voting for you from the HR perspective and hiring manager perspective, that's the best part. Because if they can't, if they have this friction, you don't know who's gonna win. Like in some companies, it's HR. In some companies, it's hiring manager. Be nice to people. That's very important. Be nice.
Exactly.
All those things like HR, like lots of things are said about HR, but be nice to all of them. All of the people you interact with, peers, hiring managers, HR people.
Thank you, everyone. And I want to ask Dina something. You work in an international company, and the thing of diversity from what I know at least looks a bit different in this specific company. How do you find the difference of hiring Israeli people in an international company? How challenging is that?
Good question. I mean, like right now I have too many insights of hiring people on different markets. So I'm just trying to switch to Israel because we do not have that much hirings right now. But I would say the following. The first thing is that when we're talking about the international company, it also means that you have managers of some type. For example, these managers can come from any country from the world. For example, this can be, I don't know, Spanish people, Russian people, Americans, or whatever. They already have their own culture and their own attitude. And I guess that some of the countries can be closer to Israel and some can be just far away from Israeli mentality, not understanding it. For example, there are some countries who got used to working from 9 to 6 and saying, bye guys, I have a family, and switching to this work-life balance. I would even add here the most, one of the biggest surprises for me was Netherlands market, where people even try to work 4 days per week, and they do not prefer to work more. So in some countries and in some cultures, work-life balance is something which is leading the whole process, and you understand that this is the part of the culture and everyone works like this. But some countries are about something else. Sometimes they're about working more, working 7 days per week, and getting things done very fast without taking care about, I don't know, employees' feelings, employees' plans, and so on. Some companies are about also changing plans. For example, you started from one plan and somewhere in the middle you decided to change the plan and to go to the other direction. And some people, for some employees, it's not that easy just to switch like this when you were running in one side, just then to run to the other side. So when it comes to hiring Israelis, I would say that it really depends what type of company and what type of managers are doing this. Some of them can easily understand what is going on. And for example, it also took some time from my side to understand how this balagan works.
Yeah.
I call it a really sunny balagan because most of the people here, they are very positive, they are very sunny, they like to talk to each other, they just really like chatting, and it's very nice part. But sometimes some cultures are more about focusing on the task you have and not about chatting with everyone. So it really takes time to firstly to talk to hiring managers and understand, as each country, Israel also has its own specifics, talking about just building relationship with people, talking to people. It's really important for them to get to know each other good, to understand what is going on the family side. Always, every time I had interviews with Israelis, the first thing they're talking about is their family, not their profession, their job, and their experience. So it's really important to understand that this is like one of the biggest parts in Israelis people's life. So you need to understand this. Then you need to understand that there are really lots of other specifics in terms of kindergartens, schools, and so on. And people can be engaged in what they're doing. They can work, I don't know, many hours per day, but sometimes they really need to leave, for example, at 3 o'clock to take a child out from the kindergarten. So you also need to understand this. I will also say that Israelis are usually very transparent and very direct. They do not hide anything. So it's very easy to understand whether they understand what they are doing, whether they like what they are doing, and so on. And it's also on the, I wouldn't say this is like the specific thing for each country. It's always on the manager's side to understand whether your team is motivated or not. It's for you to understand whether they understand what they are doing, whether they are driven by the challenge, whether they are motivated, and so on. And it's on your side to build this relationship, to understand how is it going, and not just to behave like this is the task, you need to do this, and I'm waiting for the deadline. So
thank you so much for the insight. I feel like, you know, I'm back in the office on the 39th floor, and I can imagine what the managers and the people, and it's very cool. I wanted to mention about what I say, you don't need to talk with the HR. So what I found when I ask HR people about hiring people from non-standard backgrounds, I see also the same kind of patterns or similar patterns that I found in the job candidate side, but the context, of course, is different. I find like functional reasons like chain of command. At the moment, the final decision maker is the person that need to hire the guy to the team. I need that employee in my team. I need to see that employee, and I decide that. So it's a thing of chain of command. Then I also think about people that switch, for example, from a non-high-tech to high-tech industry. When you try to change your industry, so as an HR, you're not able to see that background. How is it relevant? And it falls under something that Daria knows a lot about, skills assessments. And then like, are you as an HR also able to see those skills when it doesn't plain says, I have software engineer background, but I have an engineering mindset. And are we all as HRs able to identify that in a candidate and then highlight, hey, that person might be useful, even though it's not like 100% fit. Then what I find maybe most notable in companies is about how do you call it, homogeneous, that you hire people that are similar like as you. And you can see clearly each company has its own like
DNA.
pattern, own DNA. It's like the reflection of the founders or something like that, but not always, or at least the leadership level, and they hire people like them. It happens like, I don't know, it's some contagious. It's something with the people like people like them. Is it something that you also see in your company, Carol?
I wanted to give you an example, an amazing example that I influenced the decision of the hiring manager, and I'm super, super proud of not what I did, but the person that we hired. And so it was for FP&A position, so it's not, let's say, tech position. And so this person, she was in the process a year ago. And she got like until almost the end. She made a lot of interviews with me, with the hiring manager. She did the home assignment and all of that. But we had like two or three candidates. I don't really remember. And the hiring manager, he decided to someone that I told him, don't hire, but he said, I am going to hire. So, okay, he hired. What happened 1 year later? She's not a fit. This person is not a fit, so we decided to open the position for hiring again. And this person that was in the process 1 year ago, she contacted me and she said, listen, I followed the NIAX for a long time. I learned a lot more about the things, the feedback that you gave to me 1 year ago. And I saw that you opened the position again. I'm really interested. What I did, I went straight to the hiring manager and I told him, listen, this person, this, and that. I think it's amazing. It shows a lot of initiative and drive. And this is the kind of person that we want here. Cool. So we hired her.
That's fancy. Thanks for sharing.
Really nice. It was really nice. I'm really proud of her. She's like doing an amazing job here.
Great. Yeah. I also, as former employer, I got the feeling that when you grow your own people and give them a chance, you can feel like, whoa, I did something meaningful here. And it's more than just hiring according to the book, but I saw something there. It has something very good when you have good faith and trust, and they feel that also the candidates themselves.
Exactly, and as you said, treat everyone well, like, because you never know what it's going to be in 1 year from now. And also, I always say that to everyone, every job seeker that approached me, that we go until like the end of in the process, I say to them, keep contact with people of the company. It's very, very important, and keep checking for open positions. It's really important. I love those kind of situations.
Great. Now I want to get you in a new situation, all of you. And actually, we're going to split into 2 groups, okay? And we're going to have a task, okay? It's going to have less scenarios to choose. I deleted them. We have 2 scenarios to work with them. So for the next 15 minutes, we're going to split into 2 groups, okay? When we need to, we're going to practice our problem solving and collaboration. We're going to brainstorm and talk loudly in 2 groups. I'm going to visit each group just to see the type of conversation that it's shaping. And I'm going to share with you a Google Sheet that is collaborative. You can edit it. And we're going to try to solve a problem, one that has to do with managing diverse remote teams, people working remotely, and the second one on cultural considerations in talent acquisition and how to fix it. So we're going to split into 2 groups. I'm gonna set the, first of all, I'm going to share here the document, Google Sheets, okay? And then according to the kind of group, I'm going to send you each group a message saying your scenario 1 or your scenario 2. Here to everyone. And
No access.
No access. Come on. And now you can refresh.
Yep.
Great. So I'm gonna set these breakout rooms. I'm gonna make 2 rooms and create it. And for the next, let's say, 15 minutes to have a nice discussion. Okay, gonna put some people together in rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, you're gonna be group number 1, and gonna put all the others on the second group and open rooms. Great. I'm gonna pass between 2 groups and jungle a little bit. So let's just enjoy the task and we can read it together.
Yeah, me too. It's good to see you. Finally.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're going to deal here in scenario number 1, managing diverse remote teams, okay? I suggest to get started that one of you will read the scenario, and then in the next slide, you're going to write your names, and then in the slide number 5, you can write your solutions and strategies. I recommend also here that somebody will be the writer and others will be the contributors, but however you want to distribute this task, so you can do it. I'm going to pass to the second group so I can also tell them that they're in the second one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, team. We're going to handle here with the scenario number 2. Okay, I'm going to send here again to the chat the link. What I suggest to get this productive, okay, one of you will volunteer to read the scenario, okay, scenario number 2. After that, you're going to write your names in the slide number 8. And I'm going to address your thoughts, insights about the questions written in slide 8 in slide number 9. Is it cool?
Okay.
Okay. So let's start with story time. Who wants to volunteer to read? No volunteers. So I will volunteer. Yala. So, cultural considerations in talent acquisition. The HR team faces the challenge of recruiting a vital role that requires interaction with global clients and partners. The focus is on pinpointing candidates with cultural adaptability and competencies suited for diverse business landscape. The Israeli tech company is in search of individuals who effortlessly merge their expertise with a deep cultural understanding and a crucial aspect of the role. Okay. So let's write our names here. Yeah, we got Kostya, we got Lena, we got Dina, and Dmitry. Okay. Question number 1. What steps can the HR team take to ensure a fair and unbiased assessment of candidates' cultural competencies and adaptability? What do you think?
I guess we have one professional here already does it every day.
So let's hear that. And who will be taking notes, insights? It's okay. We need somebody to be the person that can document the insights. Elena,
Sorry, guys, I have only my phone because as always I'm at work.
Cool.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I can take notes. Where should I write it? In the document you sent us?
Yes, in slide number 9 in the document. And we need somebody to ask out loud the questions in slide number 8, and it should be a conversation. Everybody can contribute thoughts. It's okay. We're not trying to look for the right solution, but to develop our thought process about the topic. Okay?
Okay, so the first question was what steps HR needs to do to ensure the cultural adaptation is achieved by the candidates. I guess that first of all, they need to consider candidates with past experience working in multicultural environment. That is like proof experience. Also, candidates who lived in different countries, that will be also like a proof experience communication with different cultures. Also, it might be not countries, but big cities with a multicultural environment like New York, like Toronto, or other big cities.
What do you think?
One more thing is international universities. The same. You can work in one country, but you could have a previous education in another one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also an experience, and especially in institutions and universities, people exchange cultural experience.
So what I understand from here is that what you're suggesting is do look the background of a candidate to ensure that we have a fair and not biased assessment, so we can understand that person has these kind of skills.
The question is which information we have at the beginning of this process. Do we have their LinkedIn, Facebook, or what do we have? Where did we take the first list of these candidates?
It doesn't say, okay? I'll check again the scenario and let's use the information given. Let's try to handle with that. Sometimes real life problems don't have full information and we have to cope with it. So recruiting a vital role that requires interaction with global clients and partners. Focus is pinpoint candidates with cultural adaptability and competencies. That is good for global business. This is an Israeli tech company and is searching for somebody that can blend in any kind of culture.
So look at the experience, look at the social media, look at the languages they have, look where they studied or worked.
Okay.
And what kind of friends they have in their profiles. If I have people from 20 countries, it means that I can communicate with them.
Dina, as a HR, what do you think?
Sorry, I was making notes. That really sounds like a good idea to see the social media, the Facebook, the friends and so on. All the things mentioned, I think, were by the way, just really good to understand that the person has background of working in diversity environment and understanding different cultures and different types of people from different backgrounds.
Anybody want to contribute more, or let's move to the next?
I have one thought.
I will move to the next group to also be sometime with them. Okay.
Okay. Do we?
Ilan, you bring the recording in progress with you.
Yeah, you come and go.
How are you doing here?
We are answering question number 1.
Cool.
So I was reading what I wrote until now. So identify the best channel for each part of the process, follow up with customers, follow up with the team, social connections. So we suggested some softwares to support management, such as Salesforce, Jira, Monday, Asana, or any other OKR platform. Another suggestion was to keep a one-on-one communication and Teams meeting on Zoom or Teams. Choose one.
Choose one is very important.
In your calendar to make sure everyone is in the same page, meaning it's not only what we write, but also that we communicate verbally. Anything else I should add to how can remote work management be optimized considering the integration of new methods or advanced technology?
Well, I think it's enough.
We didn't say anything about AI. It's weird.
It's gonna be on, on solution recommendations. So.
Okay.
So maybe let's ask AI. What is
Ask AI.
It reminds me that this feature that during a meeting you can have the note-taking part by AI. It takes notes and recommendations what to do later and follow-ups.
I need to do that. I need to implement this because I don't have it.
I never tried that.
Yeah, there's a few of them, on the market. Because no one ever sends follow-ups after the meeting, and well, AI can do that at least.
Yeah,
that can be awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
What question are we at now?
So now question number 2, what improvements can be made to organization communication to effectively convey the change and innovation to employees? Amazing question, actually. I would say communication would be like newsletter, all hands. What do you think?
The routine.
I still think that Slack is good for it, because we just like I had the Slack in previous companies that I worked for, and also in Developers Institute here in Tel Aviv. They use the Slack. So in like few seconds, you're aware of any like interview opportunity, or like what party do you have to go to, like meet up people for in terms of like job seeking, or any stuff like that. And it works very well, actually.
If you don't mute it.
You can for having a work-life balance, you can do that. You can just push the button and you don't have any messages in the time that you don't have to.
I mean, from my experience, it's never too many in remote settings. Because some people don't read emails. I mean, I literally know people who don't read emails. And no matter what you send in them, they don't read emails. They read only either Slack or WhatsApp or any other like messenger. Some people mute their messengers because, I mean, they don't like those beep, beep, beep notifications coming up. Some people need like one-to-one conversation, whatever. I mean, use anything you can.
So I wrote down, so use Slack. Do all hands every quarter. It's something that I usually like, all hands. But one thing that I always miss is open for questions. It's not only one way communication. It should be, you know, like if the employees, they have some kind of a question, they should ask. And if they are not comfortable to ask that during all hands, you know, but at least that the CEO or the HR, they should open this channel, right?
Well, we had
No, go ahead, Nicholas.
we had an opportunity in Zoom. I don't know like how it was realized actually, but we have some kind of anonymous questions, you know. When we had an all hands with CEO or like in HR partners or like whatever, we had an anonymous chat that you can write any question you want to, and nobody will kill you for that, and nobody will know like, who asked this question, and that was pretty good, and it worked really well because like no one was scared, because people sometimes scared about it, like to have some consequences after they ask inconvenient questions. But this works really well.
The other thing that really helps is asking people beforehand, like proactively going to people and ask questions. They're ready to tell them the question. They're ready
Not all
to.
of them.
No, not all of them. But I mean, you know, some people that like you good relationship with, and you ask this person specifically. You get the question. So during the open hours, you say, "Hey, here we have a question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5," and people see. Okay, some people are asking the question. And they actually say, okay, it's okay to ask stupid questions. And when they see that someone is asking, they'll start asking questions. If no one is asking anonymously, like in person beforehand, it's very hard to be the first to ask a question, even anonymous.
Agree. Okay. Wow. I see time is up, so it's gonna push us back to the session.
Sure. So we answered the 1 and 2.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. It's not about just completing it. It's, today's task is about processing, so and collaboration. So I think it's.
Let's improvise.
Yeah, we're improvising. I drag this recording in process with me to every room. Come on.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Later on, it will serve a higher purpose.
I mean, I thought like before that Zoom wasn't able to record breakout rooms. It looks like it can now.
With the host or co-host.
Yeah, with the host. Yeah.
That's
cool.
Okay, we're learning every day something new.
Yeah.
Cool. How was it? Who wants to share like an interesting thought that was new or
Not everyone back. Okay, so now they're back.
Everybody's coming back. Let's give them like I don't know, a minute, something like this. Okay, most of us are back. Who wants to share an interesting thought or insight that they met during this session? Not all together.
I can do this. I can share my experience. I actually miss this kind of stuff because like I don't really work for like almost a year, like prior to move here in Israel. So and I got used to you know, to Zooms with like a lot of people and like who's sharing their opinions and do some you know, work in common, so like with some results after. So it was kind of like kind of pleasure for me, and a really nice experience, and I like to meet new people, so it's good, it's cool.
Amazing. Anybody else? Okay. Let's sum up what happened today. Okay. So things that happened today is that we talk a little bit about the business culture in Israel, our attitude, as a generalistic kind of idea. Not every place is, of course, the same. We understood that the DNA of founders' leadership usually pushes the type of people that are getting into those companies. And trying to maintain a diverse kind of environment can have some benefits. We talk about the challenges and opportunities presented by cultural diversity, both for the candidates in the marketplace willing to get in, and also to the HR people that are responsible, that organizations will get candidates from them, and what they're actually facing. And they super have valuable contributions from Carol and Dina about this. We split into groups and practice some real life situations that happens in companies, suggested our own solutions that are now documented, and I will send it to you after the session. We leave the Q&A. If you would just want to share another minute or two, some thoughts about what happened today, how does it meet you, what kind of aspirations or motivation it rises. So yeah, please share.
I would like to share. It's actually a small tip. I see there is only one person that I cannot identify on the chat because the name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one great opportunity, as Nicholas said, to make a network is those kind of events that someone that created it and invested some time as you, Ilan. So thank you very much, for investing that time. But my tip is, like, always make sure that your name is in English and is either the same or similar to what is your LinkedIn profile. Mm-hmm. One thing that when I was looking for a job, I used that opportunity to look who are the participants, and later on I would connect with them on LinkedIn. So you have to think that all of those opportunities are opportunity for you to meet people and increase your networking.
Super high value contribution. Thanks. Anybody else? How about Dimitri?
What?
How was today? What do you take from here for your job hunting?
For me, it was very interesting to listen an HR person, because it's the main question: what happens on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
It's usually it's a black hole, so something is happened, but what I don't understand. And here was a very real person who explained how they work. It was really very interesting. Thank you very much.
Great. So we learned that HR are also people. Amazing. And they also have this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopes.
May I ask one question?
Yeah, sure.
So, in terms of changing industry,
yep.
From the HR side, so for example, if I have like rich background in like sales of non-high tech stuff, and I would like here in Israel to move to the high tech. Mm-hmm. And for example, I pursued the Developers Institute to make some technical skills behind me. Mm-hmm. Well, is it like balancing lack of experience in sales of the high-tech software or like anything with like this kind of basic knowledge of tech from the Developers Institute?
I want to give Carol maybe the option because she was recruiting salespeople lately.
So, Nicholas, I think the best way for you to join the Israeli job environment is looking for example, reskilling courses for sales. You said you joined Developers Institute. So this will give you like experience or knowledge in developing software, but this is not what a salesperson, this is not the skill that a salesperson needs to have. You understand? So it's more important if you look for something like a reskilling course for sales than to like developers, you know. And what I would say regarding industry is that it really depends on how you put that. If you put in your head that this is your limitation and that it will be difficult for you to find a job because of that, it will be difficult for you to find a job because of that. If you don't put that limitation in your head and you say, I know my value, I know that I have X years of experience in sales and I want to thrive here as well, you will thrive. So everything is in our head.
Exactly.
I want to add my 2 cents about this. I think that in your specific case, Nicholas, the interesting thing is that you already come from home with experience in sales. And like the choice of learning, for example, in Developers Institute, so you learn coding, it maybe reduce the main barrier of salespeople to shift to high tech. It's the ability to talk about technical issues inside, and with the given that now you know Python and you can able even to express challenges to engineers. The salesperson is like the spokesperson of the client, and you reflect that inside the company. So when you're able to talk like a developer, engineers can understand you, and I think it can help you reduce the barrier of I want to sell B2B SaaS, you know.
That's what I was thinking, you know, when I moved, and that's what I was thinking about. So this kind of skills could help me leverage these inside the company, and like to, well, maybe, I don't know.
It makes sense, but I can tell you as a HR person, if I see, for example, someone that it's looking for a sales position, that it's not technical, in the case, for example, of Nayax, we are not looking for technical people in sales. And you have like a full stack course or a backend course, I don't know which course you did, but it will sound like, okay, he just wants to get his feet in the company and then he will try to go to a software developer position. And it doesn't sound really like as if you want to be a salesperson and grow as a salesperson.
Interesting insight. Thank you, Carol.
Okay.
It's all about the story you're telling. It's how you tell your story. Like from what I see on your LinkedIn, you saw like you were selling medical devices. Was it medical devices?
Yeah.
It's
last years.
So it's not like so far from like you know how to sell tech, sort of. So it's the way how you tell the story on your LinkedIn profile, on like during interview, cover letter, CV. It's how you structure what you put up front, what details you're stressing out. You tell only the truth, but you tell only the necessary truth. Don't tell all of it. It's too much.
Amazing tip. I just have one more thing. I didn't check your LinkedIn profile as Daria did. It's a great way to get to know you better. But I can tell you, like looking for a job in your industry, for example, medtech, it will bring you even an advantage. You know, you already know the industry. You already know the pain points. So why not to focus your job search in medtech? There are so many Israeli companies that are doing a lot of things in the medtech industry. So why not to focus on that?
Wow,
good idea.
Wow. Everybody, I send you here a link for feedback. I'm doing this for free because of feedback. I need to understand that I'm doing the right things that are necessary to the industry to move something with what I feel is broken in HR. So this is my small contribution to it, trying to fix something with workshops at the moment. Next week, I want to share with you that our workshop will be how to use technology to give us more time back. Okay, I'm gonna share a few tools, but we're also gonna talk about what types of technology users exist. There are people in one edge that invent AI and other people that use ChatGPT. So, and there is a scale from one place to another one. Then selecting what kind of tools might be right for our own goals now, how to deal with challenges with text, and review a few new tools that were interesting. So that's next week. We're gonna open the event right after this. If you guys, somebody here want to join the gym, okay, and not only join the workshops, but understand what's going on beside of it, give me a ping. You know how to reach out to me. I'm on LinkedIn. I live in LinkedIn more or less. And that's it. I'll see you soon, and I can stay here a couple of more minutes if you want.
Thank you, Ilan. It was very nice. Very
Thanks,
nice meeting you all.
Thank you, Ilan.
And good
Nice
luck.
meeting
very
you
much.
all.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.